Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Charley's Journey YouTube channel. If you are new here, I am Charley. I am sharing my healing journey from being part of a high control religion for nearly 30 years, and I'm just sharing the things that have helped me get over that. If that's of interest to you, I hope you'll subscribe. To all my returning subscribers, thank you as always, guys. Your support is invaluable, you know that. I can't thank you enough for all the love, all the comments, all the emails. Keep it coming, guys. I literally love it. This is the only reason I started this, so that I could interact, make friends, help, and share and hope that something I share with you resonates or is of use to you in some way. Today's video is the fourth in the series, Undoing Indoctrination. Today we're going to be talking about my inability to make my own decisions. At my very big age, I'm in my 30s, I struggled after leaving the JW organisation to make decisions for myself. And it was, and still is, I would be lying if I said it's not something I'm still working on. It's something I've had to work on for nearly 4 years, and something that I will still have to work on. Because for nearly 30 years, I relied on the organisation to direct and decide and speak on every aspect of my life. And as a woman, especially in the Jehovah's Witness organisation, even more so, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I just wanted to start off by saying that the very fact that JWs have to look to and rely on the governing body, circuit overseers, elders, etc., anybody that's in a position of oversight, as they call it, over the congregation, they look to them for spiritual guidance, enlightenment and understanding. Just that in itself fosters a spirit of dependency on them subconsciously, because they do say, of course, that you're your own person, and of course you make your own decisions based on your own research, or based on your own Bible trained conscience, or based on the stuff you've learned. They encourage you to make your own decisions, but essentially those decisions are still based on what they say. They just allow you to pick from the things that are law, so to speak, the unambiguous, clear laws, and the less ambiguous, more principled things. You can sort of pick from those, but it all relates to information they have given you, their interpretation of the scriptures, their understanding, their enlightenment. So again, it still fosters that degree of dependency on them and their understanding. Right, so getting straight into it. Growing up, I was always taught that we don't rely on ourselves. I was always taught that to rely on yourself would be foolish, would be detrimental, would be not Christian, basically. It's not Christ-like to rely on yourself. If you truly love God, if you truly trust him and have faith in him, you will look to him to help you make any decisions, which is fine. The problem comes when they dictate their interpretation of how your relationship with God should look, their interpretation of the scriptures that are written from God. That is where the issue comes, because if I read something and I believe that I should make this decision based on that scripture, but you have read it and you've told me that you've got something completely different from that, and I must listen to what you say because you are ordained by God, supposedly, that's where I feel issues can come in. So yeah, say all that to say, I was brought up to believe that decision making was in the hands of seeking advice should always go to those that are in charge. Like I said, women especially don't have any power to make decisions within the congregation, don't get to any level of responsibility presiding over the congregation, women are encouraged to, if they are married, turn to their husbands to help them make decisions, and ultimately the husband has the final say over a decision, whether it's good or bad. Again, I'm not debating the wrongs or rights of that, but that's the culture that is fostered. You go to your husband to help you make a decision, but ultimately he will be the one that will finalize that decision. You're encouraged to be super submissive, quiet, non-argumentative, not to have too much of a loud voice, not obviously physically loud voice, but although that's also something that I think is discouraged, but to have too much to say is what I mean. Women especially are just to follow the lead of their husband, and at most go to a fellow wife, if you're married, a fellow wife to get advice from regarding a decision that you might not necessarily need your husband to help you with. If you're not married and you're single, like I was for years growing up, then you go to your parents, of course, particularly your father, because he would be the head of the house if he is a witness, especially. And if you don't have a father that is a witness, then you would go to an elder or somebody else to help you make a decision. And like I said, all of that just fosters dependency on them and less thinking for yourself, less reliance on yourself. So this one I still struggle with, and I've had to work on this over the last 4 years, learning to trust myself, rely on myself and my own judgments and my own decision-making skills has been something that I've had to work on. When I first left the JW organisation and we're no longer under those quite strict, I wasn't under that strict lifestyle that had been dictated for me all my life. I now was free to make decisions about what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do, etc. And it was difficult, even though as I trust myself as a person independently, but my biblical brain, my spiritual brain was switched on to thinking that I needed to have approval from somebody. So I would often, in those first months and couple of years after leaving the organisation, I did go to friends a lot to run by them certain decisions I was making about my own life. As an adult, I was running my decisions by my friends, and not in the sense of calling up and say, oh, do you think I should do this? I would probably put a scenario towards them and just say, oh, you know, this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think of that? And almost trying to gauge by their response whether they approved of it or not. And sometimes in certain situations I did, with friends that I felt close enough to and trusted enough, I would say, look, this is something I want to do, but what do you think? Do you think that's wrong or not? And a lot of the times my friends would be like, you know, it's your life, like, it's up to you. And I had to kind of explain to them that the reason I was like that is because of where I was coming from in my life, that I wasn't allowed to just make decisions off my own back, off the cuff, without consulting somebody, without gaining somebody's approval or seeking out some kind of reassurance from somebody. So my friends quickly learned that, you know, learn to appreciate that. But yeah, I would run things by my friends, and I think by their reaction and by the fact that they kept highlighting in a loving way, like, you're free now, you're an adult, you know what's best for you and your children, or you're more than capable of running your own life, you know, you've been doing it for however long. It's just that obviously you've been made to feel that you haven't had these capabilities, but you do. You've got the capability of running your life, you've got the capability of making the decisions that are best for you and your family. So you know, whether, and I remember one friend saying to me, even if I don't agree with you, that's still not a reason for you to not go and do what you're going to do, because I don't live your life, I don't walk in your shoes. So if I then say to you, yeah, do this or don't do that, I'm basing that off of my own circumstances, not yours. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's so true. You know, I'm the one that will have to live with those consequences if I listen to you and it's not the best decision for me or whatever. So that was yeah, something I've had to deal with. And my friends, like I said, my friends were really helpful in reassuring me that I am more than capable. And that meant a lot to me because, as I said, on my own, I knew that, but the confidence was just not there. It never existed. The confidence was never there. I would run things by everybody and anybody I could to get approval when I was a witness. And any time I did try to make a decision when I was still a Jehovah's Witness without consulting somebody, I remember a good number of, and this is an adult, by the way, this is as a complete adult living on my own. I remember I did make a couple of decisions and I was told, next time come to me and talk it. I was told a number of times, next time you want to make a decision like that, come and speak to me first. I've been told that a good number of times as an adult. And that knocked the confidence out of me because it made me feel as though I was not adequately equipped to be able to make a decision without the need of somebody else's input. So hence why till now I still struggle, not as much as I did in the first couple of years. In the first couple of years it was really bad. I used to get quite a bad anxiety about making decisions without speaking to somebody about it. But now it's more like the thought comes in of like, should I ask somebody? And then almost as quickly as it comes in, I say to myself, no, don't be silly. You can do that. Of course you can do this. Of course you can do that. So it's a work in progress. I've only been out for coming up for 4 years. And as I said, I've had years of indoctrination. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but I'm proud of the progress I've made. So yeah, this one was short and sweet, but again, something I've had to work on, still working on, and I just wanted to share it in case it helps somebody else. If that video was of any use or any value, or you know somebody that it might help, please share it with somebody, please pass it on. And as always, it takes time. I've had a few emails of people that have recently left the Jehovah's Witness organisation, and just reassure you that it does take time, but you will get there. And I'm here. I leave my email in the description of all my videos in case anybody wants to reach out personally to speak to me a bit more. But thank you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments, your lovely emails, and your lovely just being so lovely. I've got a nice little growing community here, and yeah, without going over it again, because I already made a thank you video, but thank you. I am always very grateful. I don't want anybody to ever forget that. All of my subscribers that I get, any comments that I get, I respond to all of them, and I'm just so grateful. That's all. I release videos every Wednesday and Sunday, so please look out for my next video, and until then, I'll see you on my next video.